Hello, everyone. Herschel here to give you the negotiations update from the last time we met the district on March 20th, which was Friday last week. There were four proposals that went back and forth. I'm going to start with the district's responses to Article 5 and Article 6. Both of those articles are related to the rights of the union and rights of union members. And Article 5 was one that was proposed by the Faculty Association that had a lot of new language that aligns the article with Government Code 3556 through 3558.8. So all the language we proposed was based on government codes. The district agreed with some of it, made many changes to others, parts of it, and disagreed with other sections. And essentially, what it comes down to is the FA is exercising their right to be able to meet when faculty are newly hired, both full-time and part-time. And the district pushed back on some of those requirements. The district also pushed back on some of the ability for FA to conduct business with current faculty. And again, these are things that we are working on responding to. Article 6 was essentially the ability for the FA to request employee data. The district rejected our original proposal. We understand what their issue was, and we are already working on new language to correct it. So overall, Article 5 and 6 should be able to have responses by our next negotiation meeting on April 3rd. All right, the FA responded to Article 10I flex days. As you've been following along, the district doesn't agree with what we're trying to do in Article 10I flex days, which is to allow somebody who did the floating flex day to submit the proof beyond the deadline and get reimbursed for the money they deducted. We heard what the district said, so we proposed a ability to have 60 calendar days to submit the evidence if the original deadline was missed. Even in the negotiation room, the district doesn't want to do that. They feel that any extension to the original deadline just becomes the new deadline. We don't agree with that. We believe that faculty will still turn in their floating flex day evidence on time. One of the things that turned into a discussion item that will help with that process is to make the ability to submit the floating flex day year round. Right now, it's a form that is only activated when someone turns that form on. And we strongly believe that if a person does their floating flex day, let's say in January, they should be able to submit that proof in January and not wait until the button is arbitrarily activated. The other thing we requested is that a professor who does some of the hours split up over multiple days be able to submit the hours that they did for their floating flex day as they do them. The district said they will talk to IT about the process and the ability to make those things happen, and they're going to report back to us on the next negotiation day. The other issue we wanted to present as a brand new proposal is Article 27, Health and Safety. And I think all of you would agree that health and safety is a major part of our working conditions on campus. Now, Article 27 was updated by the FA to align it to multiple different current legislation and codes. For example, one of the codes that needed to be updated was Labor Code 6401.9, which is the Workplace Violence Prevention Plan. So we added language requiring that the district maintain and post their workplace violence prevention plan. The rest of the proposal was essentially clean up archaic language and updating it to language used in 2026. The one thing we did notice is that the contract alternated between the word condition and the word situation. During our research, we discovered that the word condition and the word situation are actually two different words and should not be used interchangeably. So we did add very clear definitions of those words and made sure that in each sentence it says condition or situation when referencing what the health and safety code should be. Now, the district took a caucus after this proposal. The caucus was lengthy. And when they came back, they said that they had no questions, which was a little surprising because it was a lengthy caucus. I then decided to remind the district that there were no radical changes in Article 27. Nothing was proposed that was out of the ordinary. It was essentially cleanup language to align it to current regulations and codes. The district then said it's not that easy and started to name some of the things that we had mentioned as examples, such as what happens when there's a power outage, what happens when the water main breaks in the building, that kind of thing. So I do not know this for certainty. I'm only going to say what I feel those questions or statements imply by the district is that they may be looking at the work and safety and health and safety Article 27 as a place to itemize each disaster that might happen and the exact process to follow. The FA feels that might end up being problematic. So we are looking forward to what they respond with. I do not know what they're thinking, but it does seem to imply that they might want to itemize all the things that could happen to you while you are teaching in a classroom, and then what rights you may or may not have to make decisions on what's best for your students. So look for more on that in the future. I will let you know what they bring back. Finally, there was an email sent by Joe Dominguez that arrived to your inbox yesterday. And I'm going to recommend that you read the email. And this is important because Joe is going to come to our negotiation meeting on April 3rd. He's going to give his budget report. Fant has been actively looking at the documents and going through the budget on our own to prepare to ask Joe many questions. And in that email, I believe he is telling the faculty that there's a $3 million deficit. We don't necessarily agree with that, and we are looking at evidence to the contrary, and we are planning to ask him multiple questions. So the next negotiation update might not be as many proposals, but a lot more information on what Joe reveals during the budget presentation. All right, thank you for listening. I appreciate your support, and I will see you next time.